Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I've been getting quite a number of comments talking about wanting to relocate to Barbados. How can I move to Barbados? So I'm going to use this video to do a quick breakdown of what you need to know if you want to move to Barbados and also if it's even the right choice for you. So if you haven't watched my video about working in Barbados and you intend to get work in Barbados, I would recommend that you start from there. If you're intending to come to Barbados, there are a few things that you need to know. First of all, Barbados is in the Caribbean, which means that it's an island country. It has roughly 200,000 people in it, and that means it's not a very large country. It's equivalent to some Nigerian states. Now, regarding work, Barbados is perfect for somebody who either works digitally or online, like a remote job, freelancing, that kind of thing, or you have already secured a job in Barbados. So, this means that if you're coming to Barbados to then look for work, it may not be for you. I would actually recommend that you look for a job and secure a job if that's your intention before you step your foot into Barbados. And the reason for this is because Barbados has a high cost of living. The cost of living is quite high. It's there up there among the top 10 cities that are expensive in the world. So if you don't have that kind of money, you might start to struggle from day one, and I don't want that for you. So if you need a job, get a job before you come. Now, outside of the job route, you can also come as a student. Barbados has a couple of universities and medical schools that you can attend. It also has like a polytechnic and all of that, or college. I'm not really sure what they call it. So if you get admission into one of those schools, you can use that to relocate to Barbados. However, remember that the school student permits and student visas do not allow you to work. And this ties back into the things that I mentioned in my video about working in Barbados, that there are not a lot of jobs in Barbados. So they're not trying to take away the few jobs that exist from their citizens. So you will not find you won't find a job here. The only kind of jobs that I see pop up every now and then are, say, blue collar jobs like farm work or gardening or like cutting grass, things like that. And those are not necessarily sustainable. And I also have to emphasize that those will not give you visas. Like, you will not be able to apply for a work visa as a gardener. The chances of that happening are very slim. Some of you have also asked me about jobs in tourism. So, for example, maybe working in a hotel. I would recommend that you should check the hotels that are hiring to see if they are hiring foreigners. And this is because the government has rules that says that if only you only hire foreigners if there is no citizen or native or local that will do the job. And it's also a lot of paperwork for the companies. So because of that, you may not find a lot of companies looking to hire outside the country. And even if they hire outside of the country, most of the time I notice that for those kind of jobs, they usually hire CARICOM nationals. So other Caribbean country nationals are the people that they hire. So we've talked about the job route and the student route. Now keep in mind, like I said, if you come as a student, you won't have permission to work. So maybe if you want to do some small things like braiding people's hair, or maybe you cook something and sell, all of that kind of thing to put extra money in your pocket, then sure, people do it all the time. But that you will have like a McDonald's job or a Subway job, a cashier, those kind of things do not really exist. Now, moving on from the student and work visa. For the digital nomads that are watching this and are interested, you can apply for the welcome stamp, which is a digital nomad visa, and you just have to prove that you earn approximately 5,000 USD per month. This is the actual number is less than 5,000, but I'm just rounding it up. It's actually $50,000 a year that you have to prove. So you can either prove this annually, you show your 12 months of bank statements that show that you earn $50,000 minimum over the span of a year, or you show that in the last 3 to 6 months you've been earning roughly $5,000 a month. So you can do the division of 50,000 by 12 to get the exact figures, and then you can apply for the visa, and if you're approved, then they'll send you details to pay. The individual is 2,000 USD per year, so this is renewable every year. And then the family version is the one that costs 3,000 USD per year. One good thing about the family version is that you can actually bring outside of your blood family members, you can bring extended relatives, you can bring your workers, domestic workers. So let's say you have a person that a nanny or somebody that takes care of your kids or cleaner, whatever. You can bring anybody under employee. So this also works if you run maybe a remote company, but you want to bring some of your employees with you to Barbados, then you'll be able to do that with the family version of the visa. It allows for that. And for couples, married couples, you don't have to actually be married because they recognize common law marriage. So if you can show that you've been living together for, I think, about 2 to 3 years, they will also allow you to apply together as a couple, for your visa. All right, so that is it for the digital nomad version of the visa. Now, there is another option that you can come into Barbados with, and this one is a little more complicated and a little more expensive. So, in this case, you will have to open a business. I have not personally gone through this route, but I did speak with somebody that knows about this stuff. I don't know whether to call him a lawyer or he was a consultant. And he told me that it is possible to register a business in Barbados and then grant yourself a work permit. So this is not something that is new. People do it in different countries outside of Barbados. Basically, you register a business with the law and everything, and then that business will then you hire yourself in the business, and that will give you a work permit for you to live in the country. Now, I don't know the exact cost of registering a business, and you most likely will need to be on ground to do it. So, and if you don't want to come here physically to do it, then you have to hire somebody to do it for you, which will cost you money because of their professional services. But something I want to mention before I round up is that a lot of people that have been commenting about moving to Barbados are people that live in Africa. And there is one problem, that even though you do get any of these visas that I've mentioned, that still exists. And that is, there are no direct flights from Africa to the Caribbean, anywhere in the Caribbean whatsoever. And the connecting flights that exist all require a transit visa. I want to really stress this. There are no direct flights anymore. And all the connecting flights require a visa. So there are a couple of routes that you can use to come to Barbados. So you can either use the UK route. So you go from maybe Lagos to Heathrow to BGI, which is Barbados. Or you can use the US route, which will pass through somewhere, maybe Miami or one of the US states, and come to Barbados. Both these routes require a visa. So if you don't have a transit visa for any of these countries like UK or US or Canada, there are some routes that pass through Canada, you will not be able to come even though you have a visa for Barbados, right? That allows you stay. And another thing I want to note is that the tourist visa does not allow you to stay here indefinitely. So coming from Africa or Nigeria on a tourist visa to Barbados, it will expire in 3 to 6 months, and then you will be illegal and then you get deported. So if you're planning to come on a tourist visa, when they say Barbados is visa free for Nigerians or for other African countries, it's not indefinite. It's for a specific amount of time. So please, if somebody that, oh, Barbados is visa free, it's visa free for a particular amount of time. You cannot just stay here indefinitely. If you want to stay here long term, you need to either get a work permit, the digital nomad visa, or you need to be a student, and it will be for the duration of your school period. Now, outside of the UK, US, and Canada route, there's also the Schengen route. Again, you still need a Schengen visa. That means you have to go to the Schengen embassy, which of the countries you pick, apply for the visa, and once you get approved, then you can pack your bags and start coming. So it's two hurdles right now, right? Number one is getting the right visa and actually having it in hand, and number two, it's also getting a way to come here. So if you don't have a transit visa, there will be no point. I have friends that are students, people who got the digital nomad visa, but because they don't have any of the transit visas, they are not able to come. Yes, I know you're going to ask me, what about Turkey? What about Panama? What about Brazil? All of those routes require to have a visa to pass through. The only place that does not require a visa, and I say this, please don't jump on it. Panama allows you to pass without a visa only if you have a visa for the destination you're going to. That means for all of you that are thinking of coming to Barbados on the free visa, the tourist visa thing, you won't be able to pass through Panama because Panama requires you to show a visa for where you're going. So you cannot say, oh, it's a visa-free place and so I can pass. They won't let you pass, right? You can go to I'm going to leave a link to the Panama site where they talk about the requirements for transit through Panama. And there's also like a time requirement. I think it's 12 hours. So yeah, that's the current situation of things. If you want my advice, there are a few things you can do. If you really want a US visa, you can try applying outside of Nigeria. So there's no rule that says that you must apply in the country that you live in. However, keep in mind that when you go to apply in a new embassy, they'll ask you why you're applying here, and you should have a good reason. For example, maybe you can say there are no appointments in your country, which is a normal thing, or whatever the reason may be. However, again, you are not guaranteed acceptance, but you will have to if you want to try your luck, you can try your luck. I don't know about the UK. I don't know about Schengen. I've applied for UK transit visa, but I've not applied from Nigeria, or any African country, so I can't really comment on that. So, in summary, if you want to come over to Barbados, there are a few methods you can use. You can come as a student, you can come as a digital nomad or a remote worker. You can also come as under work permit. Basically, you register, either you get hired for a job or you register a business and then you hire yourself. So, depending on your budget and all of those things, it will determine finally whether you're able to actually come. However, I wish you all the best. I know it's a weird thing to say, oh, Barbados, but nobody should come. It's so expensive. I'm just being upfront. I work remotely, so I'm not necessarily tied to a job or a company here there in Barbados. So it's not, I don't have those restrictions. But if it's something that is important to you, you want to also consider what that looks like. Let me know if you want to see me break down what it costs to live in Barbados, maybe food, groceries, that kind of thing. And I'll be happy to do that kind of video. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.